Hello everybody, I'm Cantonese Cat. Hey everybody, Cantonese Cat here. Quick video on GME. I'm going to show you some higher time frame stuff and also some lower time frame stuff. Something has transpired over the last week or so. Very important to look at. This is the monthly time frame for GME. As you can see, it made very much of a higher high here, and it made a higher low over here compared to the entire existence of GME. If anything, this higher low here just basically kind of backtests this whole zone of support over here, and you bounced higher. It looks like it wants to go higher, but simply has not had the opportunity to do so because right now things are just kind of gone sideways for so long, and that the Bollinger Band are getting tighter and tighter. You simply don't have the opening up of the Bollinger Band like here to allow price to go up a lot higher quite just yet. It is still waiting. Is still waiting for the volatility to come so you can expand up a Bollinger Band, lower Bollinger Band on the monthly here to allow price to go up higher. But if you just look at monthly Bollinger Band, you can see that 20-month moving average has successfully turned from resistance over here, it's very clear, resistance here from negative sloping resistance, to now a flat to positive sloping support here. Whenever it comes to technical analysis, when you have something in turn from resistance to support, generally good things are to come. Now, we did have price kind of get back to around the 28s or so, and that's basically going to be where the upper Bollinger Band here on the monthly is at. And you're getting a little bit, resistance here, and that's understandable. But overall, the trend on the higher time frame is changing, and is changing very, very significantly. It is very, very important to, kind of look into all of this. You also have had 3 months in a row. You remember back in August 5th when everybody was freaking out about this, the Japanese yen carry trade thing, that the economy is just going to crash and everything's going to go to crap. Didn't really happen. GME barely budged. I mean, it went all the way down to maybe like the 18 range, all the way from like 23. This is nothing when it comes to the volatility for GME. It almost just looks like they just wanted to leave the stock alone. Like nobody really cared about GME during that period of time. They just wanted to kind of just, I think they're already accumulated enough, and they just kind of wanted to, just let it do its thing, and if it goes down, they're going to accumulate more. That's exactly what this trident here has shown, right? We have a trident where you have like 3 nice wicks down here below, and you're able to find some pretty critical support here on the 20-month moving average that's flat to possibly rising. That's a good thing. It's also kind of getting a little stuck in a range here on the Fibonacci cloud. You have the Tenkan here, which is the blue line. You're flipping that from resistance here to support, right? Again, very, very bullish development. And also the Kijun out here in the red, or even the top of the Fibonacci cloud on a monthly here, had been serving as resistance. So now it's just kind of been stuck in a range. But I think something big might be happening soon to potentially, break you out of this range, if you will. Just looking at a couple of indicators that I generally look at, one is called the wave trend oscillator. It's flipped positively here again. Initially, it was like, is it going to flip negative? Is it going to flip negative? No, it's just ended up, the month of November so far has been pretty bullish for GME, and it basically avoided having any kind of bearish cross over here, which is pretty big. If you're talking about like a higher time frame, like GME on a monthly chart, that's pretty big. A lot of people like to use the MACD. MACD had a bullish cross here around May of 2024. This is exactly technically what it's supposed to do. Push price up higher, put it at a higher level, and then convert some of the technicals from more bearish here to positive, right, to bullish. And right now you have further expansion of the fast line over the slow line. I generally don't look at MACD so much, but it's a little bit of a delay indicator. But even MACD is saying that, hey, got a very bullish trend here going. Black Cat had a buy signal flash here, even though you had a big giant red candle over here around June. Black Cat has flashed positive. Looks like whales are accumulating GME around this range. That's what this basically is kind of telling you, right? The other thing too, to kind of confirm you that whales are coming in, you have less and less retail, is because you look at the MCDX Plus here, and this is an indicator that Danny likes to use. Over the last half a year, you can see like a little bit of a decreased trend in retail, even though there's a little bit of volatility. But overall, compared to what happened over the last 4 years or so, there's a little bit of a trend where you have increase or decrease in retail, right? Like you kind of see that. this becomes a lot more apparent when you're looking at the weekly. When you look at the weekly, you can see a couple of things here that has a lot of very nice character change. You have no retail here for GME on the weekly. They're all gone. You have increase in well accumulation here. And on top of that, you also increase in volume. Now, you really haven't had much volume here for the last few months. And really over the last couple of months, whenever there's volume increase, tends to be a little bit more buying volume than anything. And over the last few weeks, you're increasing volume, and this volume is bullish, right? So everything kind of goes all along with the plan that, hey, maybe they're getting ready to pump GME over the next couple of months or so. We are still hitting a little bit of a snag here because it's still waiting for the weekly Bullish band to expand. But so far, the morphology here looks like you got a squeeze here. You got Bullish band squeeze here and a little bit of expansion. And you have price basically just count from like the lower part of the Bullish band to the upper part of the Bullish band. It looks like it's kind of wanting to do something a little bit more impulsive here with the volume and with the trend, right? Very similar to over here before it made this big giant pump all the way from like 20 bucks already to like 60 bucks just a week after. I don't know what's going to happen for next week. I hope it doesn't, because I'm actually just still trying to find stocks to buy. I think GME, the technical setup, is actually really good, so I would like to buy in the 20s as much as I could. And again, I'm not going to make it like a big position. I'm just going to do like a little bit of a small position, but I do see, hey, throwing maybe a couple $100 into GME for like weekly or bi-weekly, it might not be that bad of an idea for me to do. Not financial advice to you, because I don't really care about what you do. I'm just talking about what I'm doing. I can see this being a little bit more sustainable than last time. And you also have a very, very tight Bollinger Band squeeze here. It's been going on for a very, very long time. So the next move is going to be pretty powerful when it happens. And I think the next move is probably going to be up because it's on the upper part of Bollinger Band. It probably wants to ride up the Bollinger Band up higher and maybe have a little bit more of a sustainable bull trend than the last time here back in May. I think everything is kind of setting up this to be a very, very nice breakout. And a lot of people might, like, I've read somebody on like X is saying, oh, you didn't buy down here in the low 20s and you're buying up here. Well, down here I was buying other things. I was buying like CoinL. I was buying things that had popped like 50 or 60%. I was buying, like, I was trying to load on Doge. I was trying to do a bunch of other things, right? Here, it still looks like a pretty decent opportunity because I don't think GME has really broken out yet. And it is relatively at a horizontal resistance zone, right? But a very, very important thing to look at GME is that there are a couple of things. One is if you're looking at the previous cycle high over here, sorry, you can get rid of that. The previous cycle high over here to the cycle low down here, and you can see a couple of things. One is you see a few very important Fibonacci levels. The first one is going to be very important. It's going to be 0.786. If it breaks to 0.786, which is around $70.78, then you're really talking about some like crazy all-time high triple-digit stuff, right? It got close to it. It just wasn't ready because the Bollinger Band was just not expanding yet, and it got pulled back down, right? It had a second try. Where did it go to? It went to the 0.618, right? That's also a very important golden ratio. And if it breaks about 0.618, generally things get a lot more bullish, right? It wasn't ready yet. Got rejected, came back down, didn't quite get to 0.386. Sorry, it's 0.236. But it's try to break above the 0.382, which is also a very, very important level, right? Like, as far as I'm concerned, Fibonacci level, there are a few that are very, very important, and I can probably just turn off a few that I don't really care about all that much. And I'm just going to leave the ones that I think are probably the most important, which is the 0.382, 0.618, and 0.786. Over the last, a few months, it really looked like it was trying to push against all of this. And right now we're pushing against the 0.382. We have had a couple of week close above the 0.382, but back then it was just way too far overextended, right? It was just way too far overextended. It was just not meant to be. You did have a week that was close above the 0.382, but that didn't really materialize. It can't come back down and back tested the Fibonacci cloud. Basically, right now you've also had a huge volume breakout against the weekly Fibonacci cloud. You basically have a low volume back test, and you're basically bouncing from it, right? So very, very big support zone that it's found support from. And guess what? Last week we closed about the 0.382. if we're able to have confirmation, if we close the second week about 0.382, then you're talking about, I think price is going to end up gravitating back up to 0.618. And if we get to 0.618, we'll see how it reacts there. Price would basically essentially be almost like, close to double here from where we're at right now, going to the 0.618, maybe like 70-80%, right? And then after that, we'll see how it reacts there. If it's able to break through further, then you're talking about 0.786. If you're able to break about the 0.76, then you're talking about much higher numbers to go, right? Like the triple digits. But we just simply haven't really had the opportunity to be able to do that quite just yet. One level at a time. This is GME. It could move relatively quick. I don't know exactly what it's going to do. And I'm not here to try to shill you stocks or I don't know any insider information. I'm just here basically showing you from an educational standpoint what I'm seeing here on the technicals. And I am currently having maybe like 30 or 40 shares just to be in it. I think that this is a bullish chart. There's nothing wrong with it. It's a very tiny position, laughable actually. But yeah, I bought some GME. I mean, I don't know what else to say. It looks like it's a bullish chart. It probably will be pretty bullish over the next few months, is what I'm seeing. So I will probably talk a little bit about like other targets and things like that when time comes. But so far, I just don't really see anything bad about GME in terms of its technicals, right? I just don't see it. There's another thing that I could do, which is to draw a Gann square, kind of give you a little bit more of like a cycle view, if you will. So in general, I like to do this with a number of set numbers. So this bottom number is going to be 180. The top number, I can make it a 1, right? Yeah, it gives you some okay market symmetry. Let me see if I can make that a 2. If you see a 2, we are currently at resistance. We basically have got rejected here at the arc, came back down here, broke underneath the arc, got rejected, broke down the angle, may push all the way back up here, and we came back and back test the arc and we pass. And so far we're getting a little bit rejected here almost perfectly, almost like to the dollar here at the horizontal line, right? Pretty amazing stuff, actually. I'm gonna pull back here and I'm gonna change the ratio to like a little bit of a different number to see what kind of market symmetry that I see. I think 10 is actually a very good number for GME, because you can see that if we put in number 10, it really tells you, like, it really basically just bounced down on this arc for like 4 years until it finally decided that it wanted to break out. And now you're getting rejected up here. Now it's kind of just suspending in space here, trying to use the 20-month moving average as support to push price up higher. So I think that eventually price is going to end up grounding up here around the top part of the arc over here, which is going to be around 48, right? Guess what I was just talking about when I was talking about 48? I was talking about the Fibonacci level here, 0.618. So I can totally see it maybe around March 2025. It might gravitate back up to this level, and that could potentially be a resistance level here. But we'll see. Maybe it gets there a lot sooner. And there's also 0.786 here, which is also coincidentally very close to this horizontal Gann line over here. A lot of resistance above, but I think we're also finding tremendous support down here below, with the 20-month moving average serving as really decent support. So I'm not bearish on GME based on a lot of things I was just showing you. I think it's getting ready to run. I think it's starting to want to challenge a lot of these very important Fibonacci levels here again. And once we win this time, I think we'll probably end up going a lot higher in 2025. Anyway, just want to share my thoughts. I'm going to keep this video less than 15 minutes. So yes, I like the chart. I don't have anything else to say. I'm going to try to buy in the 20s for as long as I can if they give me an opportunity to do so. If it breaks down the risk level, and again, you have to understand this. If it breaks down the risk level, 15.5. Okay. If it breaks down the risk level, 15.5. You have to understand that these are volatile stocks, and they can do some really excruciatingly painful thing. But so far, it's in a bull trend, and so far, I feel comfortable putting money in it, even if it drops all the way down, potentially down to the 15.5 range. Right? That's always a possibility, but I think the probability is probably low because the trend is bullish. And because the overall higher time frame trend is really turning very bullish, whenever you have something that's like, 20-month moving average from resistance and support from negative to positive, and you get the Bollinger Band on the monthly, on the higher time frame on the monthly expanding, that generally is a very favorable trend. Anyway, 15 minutes is up. Take care. Bye.